In 1984, Chris DENOYER's family thought the 16-year-old had run away from home to pursue a career in football. Although it seemed like a drastic decision, a telegram allegedly sent by Chris made the police confirm it was a runaway and never look into it. Chris was never seen or heard from again. Over a decade later, a body was found buried under the kitchen floor in the old family home. Chris never ran away. He had been murdered and hidden in his own home. A young couple in Salinas, California was making plans to renovate the home they'd bought a few years back. It was 1998, and their heating ducts needed to be changed. The husband went into the home's crawl space to check out the state of things before making any important decisions on the renovation. But instead of just ducts in the house's foundation, the man found something else. An old sneaker. Upon closer inspection, the couple discovered the shoe still had some human bones inside. They immediately called the police, who opened up the kitchen floor and found a human skeleton and a single bullet. Judging from the state of the bones, the body had been there for many, many years, so the police looked into the family who owned the house before. The previous residents were the Villarta family, and in 1984, one of their children had run away and never been seen again. Soon enough, the body was confirmed to be Chris DENOYER's. Born in 1967, Chris was the second child of his mother Dale's first marriage. She had since married another man, Jackson Villarta, and the couple had more children together. Chris and Jackson never quite made it work. According to Chris's sister, Jackson was very strict, and her brother never thought he should follow his rules, since he was not his father. The friction between the two only got worse when Chris and his mother started to have their differences as well. The household was beginning to be too much for everybody. So in January of 1984, Dale was away for the day, and Jackson was left to watch the children. When she got back that evening, Chris wasn't there. Shortly after, Chris's girlfriend stopped by and told the family he hadn't shown up to their date. The family phoned Chris's friends, and although nobody was with him, they did discover Chris had mentioned running away a few times to escape the chaos in his house. However, this didn't sound like something Chris would do out of the blue, at least not without telling his friends or his girlfriend. But while Chris's mother was calling the police to report him missing, a telegram arrived for the family. It was from Chris. The telegram said he had run away to Los Angeles to pursue his career in football, and that he was okay. He also mentioned they would see him again once he had made it to the NFL, and that he was sorry for the way he had behaved with Jackson. The family wasn't convinced by this abrupt message, but the police found it was enough to rule out the possibility of a missing person and simply consider it a teenage running away from home. Although Dale continued to look for him in the following months, the lack of any contact meant the trail went cold and Chris was just gone. So, how did a runaway case end up with a body being buried in the family home? Who killed Chris? And how could the family have lived with a body decomposing under the kitchen tiles without noticing? When the police found Chris DENOYER's body in 1998, an investigation began. The main suspects were always Dale and Jackson. The way the body was disposed of meant it must have been somebody who was usually at home, since opening up the floor, hiding a body, and closing the space up again would have taken quite a bit of time. The next concern was the smell. A decomposing body has a very strong odor. When questioned by the police, Chris's sister said her parents told her one of the pet snakes had probably died somewhere underneath the house. This obviously made the police very suspicious, so when they asked the same question to Dale, she told them the same thing. They always thought it was one of the pet snakes. However, when Jackson was questioned about the smell that must have lingered in the house, he told the police he never noticed anything, contradicting the story his wife and stepdaughter had told. The police grew more and more suspicious of Jackson, but the crack in the case came during one of the searches conducted at the family's new house. It turns out the couple kept boxes and boxes of paperwork, bills, and other records from over a decade ago. And it was in one of those boxes where the biggest piece of evidence was found. There was a receipt for the telegram Chris had allegedly sent from Los Angeles after he had taken off, but it had been charged to the family phone bill. A gun and bullets were also found, matching the bullet found buried with Chris. Although still unclear on the details, the prosecutors believe Jackson and Chris got in a fight that day while the other children weren't home, which resulted in Jackson shooting Chris once in the head. He then hid the body in the home's crawl space and tried to cover it up as a runaway. Jackson was arrested and stood trial twice. The first time was a mistrial, because the jury was unable to make a decision. But after the second trial, he was convicted of second-degree murder and sentenced to 17 years to life. Jackson appealed, since he believed some of the evidence should have never been admitted, such as a story Chris had once told about him poisoning the family dogs, as well as a reenactment of the grave digging. The appeal was denied, since it was considered the rest of the evidence was strong enough to point the guilt towards him, and he was sent to California State Prison, where he's still serving his sentence today. Thank you for watching this video. Please like if you found it interesting. And if you like this kind of content, please check out my channel and consider subscribing as well. I have a lot of videos planned for the next few weeks, so I really hope I get to see you in the next one. Until then, goodbye.